What's up, guys? I decided to make this video because it is something important to me. I've seen posts on grief and heartbreak from the social sites, and I just thought I'd give my insight on it because I've been through it the last couple months, but I'm doing way better than I was a couple months ago. It's because of the spiritual teachers such as Abraham Hicks and Michael Beckwith, and the Dalai Lama, and Jesus. So I think that in my approach and my thoughts on how my thinking was before has totally changed. It has changed a lot. And some days I'm kind of like, whoa, what do I do with myself? How can I express myself? Well, this is how I'm expressing myself right now. And heartbreak and grief are the best things that can happen to us because we are reborn spiritually, emotionally, mentally. I have totally been. And I am at more peace, and more good things keep happening to me every day. And more clarity, more well-being, more peace, and everything. And I'm not going to go into the details, but I'll just touch base. On April 6th, my now ex broke up with me on Facebook over a messenger, and and detached right away. Didn't really want to talk to me personally anymore. And there are things that I had to do after that to change. And I'm going to touch on those things because a lot of people always want something or somebody to make them feel better, to validate them. And that doesn't work because I was heartbroken before and I had an awakening before. It wasn't really a true awakening because I was always looking for something or somebody to make me feel better, because that's what a lot of us humans do. We want some kind of validation. We want to feel good about ourselves. And the only way that we really can feel good about ourselves is through being in touch with who we are. Now, it's a very painful experience in the beginning, especially my situation was like grieving, because there was no closure, there was no talking about it, and that was it. So basically, here's how it goes. I had started at the very, very low point emotionally, and it was the hardest thing I had ever gone through in my life because my mind was not there when this happened. My mind was somewhere else. I wasn't happy, but my mind was not in that mode. I did not expect this to happen. So, I started from that, and I started focusing because I felt so bad. I focused on what I could do. I started accepting it was the first step. The first step was accepting what had happened. And that took me about a week or two. And then I started focusing, at the same time I was focusing on what I wanted in a person. And, the truth of the matter is that led me to the same feelings a little bit, but that's not bad. I actually recommend doing that if that just happened, if you were just heartbroken, because that way you know what you want in the future. That's great. But you're not going to stay there if you're still in the very beginning. Instead, you're going to go back to feeling low self-worth, no self-esteem, just not feeling good about yourself, not feeling like you did something wrong, and that's not the case. You didn't do anything wrong. If you're in my shoes, it's where it just happened. You did everything to make everybody else happy, and that's not really a way to live life. That's what my story is. I did whatever I could to make everybody else around me happy because I wasn't happy with me. And I realized that, and when I tapped into that, when I tapped into the vibration of, in the beginning it was, I am grateful that I am in love with myself, and I'm grateful I love everything about myself too. I vibrate on high levels of allowing being in love with myself to be my life. I vibrate on high levels of allowing loving everything about myself. Okay. So it starts from a point. A long time ago was gratitude. then, through this happening, is being grateful. And then, now, I did use appreciation here and there. But appreciation is bigger than grateful, okay? Because that is focusing on a better feeling thought. Vibrating is activating faith, okay? So you start from that point, and then it becomes healing. It's also healing. I'm grateful for my healing physically, emotionally, mentally. Instead, I vibrate on high levels of allowing healing physically, emotionally, and mentally to be my life. And it's my life. I feel pretty good. And then also in that mix, since I was thinking about what other people were thinking too much about me, which is what a lot of people do, especially like when they feel heartbroken in relationships, or just getting out of that, is I only care about my thoughts, feelings, and desires that are happening now. What I use for that is I vibrate on high levels of allowing, only caring about my thoughts, feelings, and desires to be my life. Okay. So you start from that point and you move forward. And it's going to be different for everybody. But that's how it's been for me. That's been my experience with it. It's not that I didn't know about the law of attraction, because I watched the movie The Secret. The very first time I saw it was back in 2009. I had a lot of the knowledge, but I had to go through this experience to really focus on how I really wanted to feel, how I really wanted to be, what I really wanted. Okay? And I still have a desire for somebody. That's good. I don't, there's a time and place. If I'm thinking about it and I'm not feeling good about it anymore, and it's time to change the subject, as Abraham Hicks would say. So, in essence, there's a lot of things that I want. New ideas are my life. So, new ideas always come because of it. And expansion in the beginning is not easy. For me, it wasn't. It was difficult. And I'm so grateful that I feel better. Even though it's only been 2 months, I'm still new at this. And there's people out there that know way more than I do. But I know that I can help because of what people are probably going through right now in their situation. It's a time where, for me, in that experience, I realized that I didn't appreciate enough of everything around me. And there's a lot of awesome, wonderful things around me right now that I can appreciate, that I feel good about. That I have a complete body. I got hands. I got my, hands with the really small pinky. And, but anyway, I think with a lot of things, we take a lot of things for granted. And I took a lot of things for granted that I have, that I feel so good about now. There's a lot of beautiful things, the clouds, especially clear skies, with the clouds. Some of them look absolutely beautiful if you stop. It's about being present. That's what all this has brought me to. And it's taken me to places. It's like every day gets better. I'm getting excited about what's going to happen next, especially if I continue to do this. And there's other YouTube videos that I made on my other channel where I see how I was before to how I am now, and it's such a big difference. I feel so much better. I am a lot better. I still have building blocks, contrast, whatever you want to call it. I call it building blocks to being in touch with who I truly am, what I truly want. And I in a way, I'm also making this video because I hope that not a lot of other people have to go to this place that I went to. All my thoughts had created my life that I'm living now. This is all, you see this? This is all the past right here. Everything here is all the past. This is what I've created, good and bad. And I know that I'm creating more awesome things because of all the things that I'm doing now. And if you're heartbroken, you're new to this, especially like in the social sites, with the groups and stuff like that, which I appreciate you guys allowing me to post. All the spiritual practice that you had before is good. And what you want to add on, if you haven't done this yet, is writing down every day what you want. And it started with I am grateful for, being in love with myself. It started with that. And then it started to I vibrate on high levels. Get creative. Get creative with your words when you write them down. I type them on my phone on a notepad, and I have a notebook. So whatever I feel like writing, I write it down. It could be spontaneous, but usually I schedule that time before I go to bed. I used to do it in the morning, but I do it before I go to bed. I meditate for 15 minutes to an hour every day. And if you don't meditate, you can wake up in the morning when you have your coffee or your tea or whatever it is. If you don't drink coffee, that's cool. Have a focus. Focus on the things around you that you love, that you care about. And just focus on that for as long as you can. The golden rule is 17 seconds for that process to happen. To where you think, and then another thought activates, another thought activates, another thought activates. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. That's a great thing. But, and this is where I've become more careful of what I watch, what I'm thinking about, what I'm listening to music-wise. I still love old power metal and, all that stuff. But I think that, what we do influences what we are, who we are in our future. Most definitely I believe that, especially through this experience, because how I was before I even met the person I was with for a good amount of time was I didn't really think that high of myself. I still had low self-esteem, and I still was saying negative things about myself and still thinking the worst. I thought that was a great idea. Think the worst of things so that way you can make sure that you prepare yourself for disappointment. So that's a great thing, sure. Yeah. Well, it's not. Because that is what really is shaping what your future is going to be like. And I've learned that for myself, and my life has only become better. Especially my healing. I appreciate and am so happy that I feel relief that I don't have that person on my mind. I did the things I had to do. I prayed, since I'm a Christian, I prayed for that person. I prayed for that person because I wanted peace. I wanted peace over it. If you're grieving, I've had friends die. There was one time I felt bad. I should have just said, and this was many years ago, I was working at a job and a friend had passed away and I couldn't go to the funeral. And I really did feel bad about that. And I regretted it for a long time. But, throughout out of everything else I've learned now, they're in a better place. They're in a happy place. Their energy is transferred. But when I see, and my thinking has changed, so, but it all clicked, and it had taken this for it to click. But I hope that if you're watching, and you're still young, maybe in your 20s or early 30s, and you haven't really been through a lot of major stuff yet, this could be an idea for you. If you write down your thoughts on what you want, they become feelings. And if you use the right words, strong words, and open words, like open, allow, those words will direct you to where you want to be, to where you want to go. And they will take you there. It's a guarantee, because I am going to awesome places, and I already know it. But I hope that this information helps, because, through listening to spiritual teachers and through really being in tune with myself, I've been able to change, especially with what I was like before. So it's really all a blessing. It really is a good thing. And it doesn't feel like it at all. It feels like the worst thing ever. It feels like the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life. But it's actually the best thing, because you get to be in tune with who you are. Your gifts are no longer going to be in a box, because mine were in a box for years. And now I'm expressing those gifts. And I love everything about myself now. And I'm totally at peace with who I am, and I love who I am. I love my hands. I love my arms and my feet. I love the way I talk. I love everything about myself. So, and I'm still learning, and I'm still new at this, but I'm very excited about the future, and I know that my healing is healing the world. It is healing the world around me, and your healing is also healing the world. I believe it. And I'm in the present moment right now. But I really wanted to share this, and I'm glad I did, and I hope that this helps somebody, because I know that this will help somebody. I have faith, I totally believe that this is helping somebody right now by listening to this. So that is my insight on this topic, and it's not an easy topic. And you know, it takes what it takes, and you're gonna feel the way you do for a while. You have to accept it. You have to embrace it. You can't avoid it, because I couldn't avoid it. I would talk to people about it. I wouldn't trash talk too much, because that doesn't work. You know, that only makes you feel worse. It doesn't really make you feel better. I got away from that, because that doesn't help. Or if, you know, you're focusing on the emotion too much. You know, there's a time and place, and you'll realize what that balance is for yourself, because it's all different for everybody. It's not going to be the same. So that is my insight on that for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and all my friends, family, and the groups. I really appreciate all your support and your love and everything. So, and I'm very happy with that. So, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are having a good night. I'll talk to you later. See you.